It was Luke's very first day owning his new Model Y Performance. That night, while driving to his friend's house, they stumbled upon something crazy. The police cars just kept coming. Luke and his friends watched the footage multiple times afterward, trying to figure out what had happened. One possibility is that the guy exited the Maserati on the passenger side to make it look like he wasn't driving the car. Luke says it all happened so fast they hadn't even realized what had occurred until the guy was already being arrested. They turned around and left the area as quickly as they could, and they had a long discussion about what they'd seen. But as crazy as that was, we have another video just like it. Roll the next clip. Actually, we've got 20 crazy clips lined up, so just sit back and relax. This next video is also from Texas. It's from a submitter who was driving his Model 3 in Houston when he saw a guy running and tripping. When he got closer, he noticed that the guy was being chased by the police. The guy made his way over to the exit ramp on foot while a police SUV struggled across the deep trench. Our submitter doesn't know what this was all about. He was just amazed that it was happening right in front of him. Julian was driving his Model 3 in El Paso, Texas. Man, what's with all these videos from Texas? Is it the new California ever since Tesla moved their headquarters? Anyway, Julian was driving down the highway when another driver tried to exit at the last second. They lost control and crashed into the barriers. Julian immediately called emergency services to notify them of the accident. He also sent them a copy of his Teslacam footage. Joey was driving his Model Y in San Jose, California. Back to good old California. He was heading home from a party at a friend's house and decided to use surface streets instead of the highway. All of a sudden, he couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. Autopilot's automatic emergency braking feature activated after the car in front of him slowed down so suddenly. They both had to make evasive maneuvers to avoid being hit by a wrong-way driver in a Ford van. Joey had heard about this sort of thing happening at night, but he's never witnessed it in person, and he hopes he'll never have to witness it again. Next time, he'll be taking the highway home. This next video is from a submitter in Israel who was driving his Mustang when a Tesla owner wanted to show him what a Model 3 Performance can do. Well, that hurt to watch. And yes, this was recorded with a Dashcam in a non-Tesla, so it's the perfect opportunity to shamelessly promote our Dashcam channel that now has almost 80,000 subscribers. You don't want to miss it. Barry was driving his Model Y into Canton, Georgia for a date night with his girlfriend. Traffic started slowing down, but the driver behind them didn't notice. When first responders arrived at the scene of the accident, they checked out Barry, his girlfriend, and the other driver and determined they were all fine. Al was driving his Model 3 in Redwood City, California. He was on his way to the grocery store when he witnessed an accident. Al pulled over and got the contact information of both drivers. The police happened to be driving by a couple of minutes later, so they stopped and took a report. Who do you think was at fault here? Leave a comment. Patrick and his son Max approached a four-way stop a couple of blocks from their house on their way to get some late-night snacks. Patrick says he stopped and looked both ways before proceeding, but then a car came out of nowhere and he T-boned them. Patrick says he didn't have time to hit the brakes, but the Tesla did. That's fortunate. Otherwise, he would have hit the other car much harder and probably rolled it over. On the other hand, since the other car fled the scene, a rollover accident might have kept the other driver around. Patrick reported the accident to the police, but to no avail. He hasn't heard anything about it for about 2 weeks now. The estimated cost to fix his Tesla is about $3,200 US. Willy was driving his Model Y in Berkeley, California when he passed a troublemaker throwing objects at cars. Something hit the area just above the windshield on the passenger side of his Tesla. It was so loud he thought it was a brick. After looking at the footage and checking for damage, Willy thinks it might have been something softer like a water bottle. The right and rear camera footage recorded the guy throwing an object at the car following Willy too. Willy says he just took delivery of his car and didn't expect to catch a wham bam moment so soon. Welcome to the club, Willy. Gabriel was driving his Model 3 home from work in Los Angeles, California when he heard a loud bang. Gabriel isn't sure if he swerved and lost control or if a tire blew and that caused him to lose control. What got his attention was the loud bang, and he thinks that was the sound of a tire blowing up. Luckily, all other cars were far enough back that they had plenty of room to avoid causing more accidents. Gabriel pulled up next to the driver and made sure that he was fine. Aaron was driving his Model X Plaid northbound on US Route 52 in North Carolina. That's when a crazy van swerved off the road for no apparent reason, bounced off the guardrail like a ping pong ball, and ended up back in its lane. The driver then proceeded to act as if this was a perfectly normal way to drive and that nothing out of the ordinary had just happened. Right behind Aaron was a cop who didn't see a thing. Tony and Jacqueline were driving home from a family cookout. A black Chevy Silverado had been tailgating them for a while, and the driver finally decided to pass them aggressively. They said it felt like the other driver was trying to either hit them or push them off the road with his trailer. Tony noticed the trailer getting close to their car. Thanks to his quick reflexes, he was able to hit the brakes and swerve onto the shoulder to avoid a collision. Maroc was driving his Model S home after dropping off his son at daycare. That's when he saw a Model 3 with an obnoxious rear spoiler taller than the roof. Even though this isn't a crash video, Maroc still thought it would be a good video for our channel. After all, this is one way to destroy a Tesla. He just wishes he'd seen it while his 4-year-old son was still in the car, since he would have loved it. Maroc did a little research and he found out that this Model 3 is used for flying, sorry, I meant racing, in time attack races, so that's what it's set up for. Bob's wife was driving and using Autopilot when a semi-truck got too close and she was warned to take over and backed away. That's when an SUV driver raced around them and decided to quickly pass the semi on the right. Unfortunately, the semi continued to move right, pushing the SUV onto the shoulder. Can you imagine what it would be like if everyone was using Autopilot all the time? Situations like this might never happen. Gabriel sent us this video as a warning for Tesla owners. He's a truck driver, and this was recorded in his Kenworth T680 semi-truck. His warning is that driving like this Tesla owner might cost you your life. Honestly though, we're not sure what this Tesla driver did wrong other than not using his turn signal.
Okay, Garmin, save the video.
Did we miss something? Leave a comment and let us know. Nelson was driving home at 4 a.m. after a DJ gig. He was cruising at around 50 miles per hour when the car hydroplaned. He lost all control before his car smashed into a wall. Nelson contacted his insurance company and found a Tesla certified repair shop. According to him, however, they didn't do a very good job. It took over 2 months to fix the front bumper, and they didn't even realize that the rear control arm was completely bent. After they replaced his wheels and performed an alignment, he said the car was driving horribly and he probably would have gotten into another accident. He's not sure what the total repair cost was, but the next time he needs his Tesla fixed, he says he'll have better luck fixing it himself with duct tape and bubble gum. While traveling northbound on I-275, Dee started to overtake a slower-moving semi in the middle lane. All of a sudden, some maniac sped up behind her and flashed his headlights before overtaking her on the left shoulder. Then he brake-checked her before showing her some choice gestures. Dee slowed down to avoid what could have been a major accident and minimize the amount of debris being sprayed on her Tesla. Paul was about to enter a highway when he heard a loud screech followed by a slam. At first he thought it was his music, but when he later reviewed his Teslacam footage, he saw this crash. Paul says he's been waiting months since getting his Tesla to finally capture some footage to send to Wham Bam. He talks about it so much at home that his 13-year-old son Wyatt was relieved when it finally happened. At last, his dad would stop talking about sending footage to Wham Bam. Okay guys, we messed up big time. Remember this school bus crash from a couple of weeks ago that was sent in to us by a guy named Kane? Well, it turns out that Kane fooled us. This wasn't his video, and we even followed up with him to verify that it was. I'm not sure what his motive was when he pretended it was his clip, but this one slipped past our radar. Kane had actually stolen this footage from a video that Tesla Canadian Dad had posted on his YouTube channel. We got a message from Tesla Canadian Dad asking, "Who the f is Kane, and why are you telling my story wrong?" We talked with him and he was very understanding about what had happened. The truth is that our theft of his clip was totally unintentional. The fact remains that this is his clip, not ours, and his original video is a lot more interesting. In it, he goes into detail about what happened, the insurance process, the cost of repairs, and more. We normally just show short crash videos on our channels, so hearing the full story behind a crash is actually really interesting. I encourage you all to check out his video, and I would consider it a personal favor to me if you'd subscribe to Tesla Canadian Dad's channel. Please help me make this right. Finally, a message for Kane. We will find you, and we will unsubscribe you.